Well, there's no agreed name yet. The only MP isn't on board either. A lot of loose ends then. But there was certainly a buzz at the Ramada Hotel yesterday. When I caught up with Sir Reg Empey, I asked him if the excitement would translate into long-lasting benefits for the Ulster Unionist Party.
I hope it will have long-lasting benefits for Northern Ireland and for the entire United Kingdom. I think it's not an exaggeration to say that that is the most pro-union speech made by a Conservative leader in living memory. And I think it should reassure people that what we are trying to achieve here is to mainstream Northern Ireland back into national politics and no longer leave us on the window ledge of the Union. That doesn't interfere with commitments in the Belfast Agreement, but it does give people an opportunity now to play a role in national politics and end the democratic deficit which has existed here for years.
Well, if it is the most unionist speech we've heard for a long time, then some of it will fall back on the definition of what he meant when he said that he has a selfish and strategic interest here. Was he expressing a personal point of view, or was he repudiating an important plank of British government policy which led to that Belfast Agreement?
Well, first of all, he is totally supportive of the Belfast Agreement and said so, and so are we. There's no backtracking on that at all. What he did say, however, was that he would not be neutral when on the Union. And one of the terrible mistakes that was made many years ago was governments in London became referees, became neutral with regard to the Union. Yet if you look at Dublin, every possible combination of parties in Dublin will result in a pro-United Ireland party, albeit aspirational. Why shouldn't there be a pro-union aspirational government in London? And what we're trying to do is create a level playing field for unionists. So therefore, everybody will have the opportunity now to play a real role in national politics, vote for people who not only will go to local councils, will go to local assembly, but will go to the national parliament to support an actual government and participate in that government at every level.
But what seems to be a key difference here is how you're going to sell the idea of the union. You're saying now unionism shouldn't be a matter of birth, it should be a matter of choice.
Yes.
Do you believe you can make that jump? Because that would be a huge difference.
It is huge. But look, Jim, I'm not naive. We all have pasts in this country. We all have we've lived through a terrible period. And it was clear to me whenever I started pushing this idea within the party that the most enthusiastic group, the first group to become most enthusiastic were the young people. Now, they do not have the memories that the rest of us have of the bad years of the 70s and 80s. And it's their future. This is a long-term project. And we don't decide our politics on the basis of the economy, on the basis of tax and spend policies, on the basis of those things. We all know that. And that has been because there's been constitutional uncertainty. I believe the combination of what was agreed at the Belfast Agreement, plus the fact that we look forward to a Cameron-led government where the leader of that government has absolutely and clearly indicated on our platform that he is committed and will not be neutral. I think that should give people the confidence now to try and come out. Now, this is going to take time. Our policies have to be right. He also made it very clear.
Policies may have to change.
Well, he also made it very clear that the days of things being decided in London were gone. He made it clear that Scotland, Wales, England and ourselves, he has to listen. He's not a control freak, and policies are going to have to be tailored to the local needs. We've made that absolutely clear from the start, and he's also totally committed to devolution, which we are as well.
Well, what about the practical benefits? Obviously, Jim Nicholson stands as the agreed candidate in Europe, but looking ahead to Westminster, we've still no indication from Lady Sylvia Herman, your only MP, about what her views on this are, and yet every indication from those around her is that she is against this.
First of all, Sylvia hasn't appeared in the morning, and I'm not getting into that right now. When she's completed that, we will, of course, come back to that. But we have to look at the wide picture here. And I'm repeating the fundamental issues. We want to be in a position to put forward an economic package for long-term economic growth in Northern Ireland that will restore the entrepreneurship that made Northern Ireland what it was 150 years ago. We've lost our way there. We need policies on tax. We need policies that recognise, as David Cameron says, that we have a land border. with another European state.
But are you willing then, though, to sacrifice what the DUP are saying at potential unionist agreements in areas? We're sitting in South Belfast. You're committed now to fielding a candidate here. Therefore, there will be 2 unionist candidates come the next Westminster election.
This is the greatest disingenuous load of rubbish. It was the DUP that sacrificed Fermanagh and South Tyrone in 2001 when they deliberately and willfully, in my opinion, supported an independent unionist candidate who openly stated before polling day that he would rather Michelle Gildernew of Sinn Féin won the election than the Ulster Unionist candidate, the Ulster Unionist candidate at that election. And what happened was that we lost that seat by 57 votes. In South Belfast, we held that seat from it was formed. And is any party seriously not going to put forward a candidate for a seat that it is currently holding? So it's totally disingenuous. The DUP split unionism in 1971 when they divided the unionist bloc, and therefore I'm not going to be lectured by them on that. I'm prepared to, and have always gone for maximising the unionist vote. Having a single candidate is not a guarantee of success. There may be other combinations that have to be looked at, but I'm not prepared to take that sort of nonsense from the very people who handed the seats over to nationalism in the first place.
But what's clear, though, is whatever candidates you select will have to take the Tory whip, should they be successful, and sit at Westminster.
That is the position, that they will be an integral part of the Parliamentary Conservative Party. They will have equal rights, and as he said today, if we have enough members of the relevant calibre returned, they will be part of the next British government. And what better platform for a unionist to stand on than that, because that's the missing link that we've never been able to deliver in this country before, and it puts us on an equal footing with our fellow citizens in England, Scotland and Wales. Northern Ireland has always been the odd man out, and as far as I'm concerned, this is an opportunity to correct a wrong that has gone on for far too long.
Are you worried, though, that the Ulster Unionist Party to some extent is being used to give a fig leaf of kind of national unity to a party, the Conservative Party, which is inherently an English party?
Well, first of all, he doesn't have to be here. We don't have to be talking to him. This is a voluntary effort. It can only be a voluntary effort. We've signed a memorandum of understanding. It's perfectly clear that that's a voluntary exercise. We can walk away, either party can walk away from it at any time if they don't like it. It is not a merger. It is cooperation between two parties.
Sort of lack of commitment, though, not perhaps.
It's not a lack of commitment. It is a very strong commitment that we have made to attach ourselves to this entity which we've agreed, which is the Conservative and Ulster Unionist Joint Committee. That is what we have formed. That body is going to be appointed in the next few days. That will work up all the details. Look, everybody can say what the bits are that this is going to be trouble, that's going to be trouble. Look, we're making major change here, and people need to get their heads around it. When was the last time that a future Prime Minister stood on any party platform in Northern Ireland and made the statements that David Cameron has done? I mean, if you believe in the Union and if you want to move this place forward, what more can any man say than he said from our platform today? He made it clear he dealt with the past, he dealt with his own commitment, he made it absolutely clear why he was doing it, and I think that anybody who stands back and reads that would need to think very carefully. We have got something here that is genuinely new and different, and I think of long-term value to not only to unionists but to everybody in Northern Ireland.